Welcome back. The push to the November midterm elections is picking up some speed now as the summer grows older. One of the initiatives Utahns will vote on this year is medical marijuana. Today, the Deseret News has an in-depth look at who is funding that initiative and what you need to know ahead of November. Doug Wilkes is the editor of the Deseret News. Boyd Matheson, the opinion editor, back with us from a moment ago as we go inside the newsroom. Polls show that Utahns, by a growing support something on medical marijuana. And this report shows what?
Well, you have the Utah Medical Cannabis Act, right? And the question is this the right solution to providing some relief for people who believe cannabis can provide some relief? But what our report shows that influential national lobbying group, Marijuana Policy Project, played a significant role in actually drafting the initiative, but also in funding it. And they're based out of Washington, D.C.
Now, why should Utahns care about that?
Well, it's important to say, are there outside influences trying to dictate to Utah what Utah should be? But there is a counter-argument. There are many Utahns who are in favor of this. There are hundreds and hundreds of smaller donations from Utahns that are helping to fund this initiative. So supporters would say they're getting support from outside of Utah to simply do what Utah wants. Critics would say, look, this is pretty heavy-handed from outside the state, and people need to know what the real motivation is. And some say that real motivation is to legalize it here, as it has been in California and other states.
So in making the sell, we're going to start seeing a whole lot of activity, especially as we get into September, right?
Yeah, I think you'll see the real funding really pick up as we get past Labor Day. You'll see a lot more in terms of TV ads, radio ads, print mailers, and so on. So that's really going to pick up. And that's where I think Utahns really need to kind of sharpen their focus a little bit and really ask some pretty serious questions in terms of what does this mean. The talking points will be, very general. But I think it's important for people to recognize that they can be for medical marijuana and against this initiative. That is absolutely congruent thinking because the initiative does cover a wide range of things, a lot of unintended consequences. I think one other question that we have to really ask ourselves is, in our rush to alleviate the suffering of some, do we create more suffering for others? And obviously we've seen that in things like the opioid crisis, where our rush to help one group of people have really devastated entire communities. So there's a lot of questions to be asked that I think Utahns need to really think through as the initiative picks up steam.
And that's kind of been what Governor Herbert's been talking about too, is, hey, we're all for bringing people relief, but if we go down this road without some parameters here, it could get pretty messy.
Yeah, and we're trying to take in the Deseret News an authoritative look at just really what are the issues. For example, how's it going to be distributed? Will this be, if this initiative passes, is it going to be through a pharmacy? Well, in fact, no. But is there enough control that it doesn't turn into the wild, wild west? Perhaps. So you have to look at it and really study the issue. And what we're trying to do is provide information on where the money's coming from, what the motivation is from that money, and that's what we're doing today. In further weeks, we will, also look at more polling. We'll look at other ways that people can get informed. But it really is incumbent upon each of us to learn the issue, because it's a big decision.
Big report in today's Deseret News and on DeseretNews.com. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks, Dave.